Hey everyone, how about them Cowboys? Today I want to show you guys some of my new pickups, stuff that I've gotten recently. Has nothing to do with the Packers or football actually. These are all Japanese cards. We're going to start off with something that I'm pretty thrilled to have. Didn't think I would get another pickup for this set quite this soon after getting one before. But I'm happy that I got this 1964 Morinaga of Masaichi Kaneda to add to my set. I believe this is the 10th card in the set that I have out of, I want to say, 12 cards. There might be a couple more that are like really, really rare, maybe. But I'm almost done with the set. So I got this Masaichi Kaneda, one that I have coveted for a long time since I started collecting the set. I've really wanted this one, but it is quite hard to come by. I've said before in other videos where I show my Morinaga cards that this very small set, within this very small set, it seems to me that the cards in the set featuring Yomiuri Giants players, like Sadaharu O, were maybe, I'm just basing this on my own eye test, they may have been printed in higher numbers than players on other teams, simply given the immense popularity of the Giants. That's just speculation on my part. But anyway, the point being that none of these cards are super easy to come by, but particularly the cards of players not on the Giants seem all that much more rare, at least based on my own experience. So a card like this is just not one that comes up all the time. So I was super happy to grab it. So Masaichi Kaneda, if you watch my channel, you might know who he is, or you might know who he is anyway, if you're tuning in for the first time. He is, I would say, if you want to go that route, if you want to make those comparisons, he's a little bit like the Japanese Cy Young and the Japanese Nolan Ryan in one pitcher. I say that because Kaneda, in terms of career results, is by far the most successful, the most accomplished, and I guess you could say best player in Japanese baseball history. He is the all-time career strikeout king. He's got about 4,500 strikeouts, and he is also the all-time wins leader in Japanese baseball with around 400 something wins. So like I said, he is kind of like the Japanese Nolan Ryan or the Japanese Cy Young all in one. Although I do have to say that calling him the Japanese Nolan Ryan or the Japanese Cy Young is a little bit incorrect, given that Kaneda was actually an ethnic Korean who basically lived his entire life in Japan and took a Japanese name, but he was in fact not Japanese. He was Korean, but I guess you could say that the Japanese baseball Nolan Ryan or the Korean Nolan Ryan, if you prefer. So Kaneda, he was nicknamed the Emperor, and like I said, all of his records, I mean, he's tops. And I've said this before, where in Japanese baseball, these kinds of all-time records, like Kaneda's records or Sadaharu O's home run record, you're really just not going to see these records broken. And the reason for that, of course, is that all of the very top talent in Japan at this point basically eventually they make their way to the major leagues. So you're not going to see a pitcher in Japanese baseball If anyone had the ability to match or surpass Kaneda's feats, you would almost certainly see him in the major leagues at this point. So he may split those numbers between, the majors and Japan, but you're never gonna see, 4,500 strikeouts in Japanese baseball. It's just not gonna happen. So guys like Kaneda, truly an immortal. Um, and definitely, a guy worth checking out for your own collection if you're thinking of, getting into Japanese baseball or collecting Japanese cards and things like that. I definitely recommend checking out Kaneda. Pretty much unlike any all-time great of Japanese baseball who is not named Sadaharu Oh, he is pretty affordable. So then also I've got a couple 73 or maybe in one case 74 Calby cards. And what I've been doing recently is I've had an interest in trying to acquire Calby cards in really good condition. I've become fixated on this recently. Most of the 70s Calby cards, particularly the early 70s, so like the 73 and 74, they are just so very often in really poor condition. They've all got these white backs, and the backs very often look like they've been dunked in coffee. Corners and edges are bad. They're just very often in really rough shape, the 70s Calby. Particularly, I would say the early 70s Calby, you just always see him beat. Comparatively, I would say like the late 70s, 78, 79, you definitely see those in good condition far more often than you'll see the early 70s. So I've been fixated on getting some early 70s Calvi cards that are in great condition. Ones that I think I could probably get like a PSA 6 or above on. So I'll show you a couple new ones that I've sort of, I find these, I got both of these in person, just buying in person, digging around and finding ones that look good. So I did buy both of these cards simply for the condition. I mean, all Calby cards, they're all cool. The players are not particularly notable. Just shut up and show the card. So this is Shigeru Takada, who played for the Giants. And again, he's not a super duper star or anything like that, but this is an awesome card. Great shot there. Takada had a good career. Like I said, not a super duper star, but and then you check out the back of this card, and you can just see how nice it is. So these are the ones that I'm after, with a really pristine, particularly the backs, but I mean also on this one you've got real nice corners and edges and surface. There is a ding up there on the top right corner, but all in all, in great condition. So this is one, I see one in this good of condition, I'll grab it. I think this might be a 74, maybe 73 or 74. It's not later than 74. The numbering and the sort of these Calvi cards, it's easy to not, because unfortunately in a lot of cases they simply did not put the year on them, and the numbering is a little funky. There's a ton of them. They release really big waves of these cards and things like that, so it gets a little complicated. But here is a card of Hiroaki Inoue of the Chunichi Dragons. Inoue was an outfielder, and he was not, again, kind of like Takada, he was not a super duper star or anything like that. I believe he had a couple all-star selections in his career. Hit maybe 150 home runs, that kind of thing. But he, definitely, he was a solid player, not really a star. But this card is, I got this one because it is in such great condition. I think this one, if I graded it, might get a 7. I think it's got a chance at a 7. Um, so actually, and a funny thing, I was reading the back of this card. I was looking at the back of the card, and they actually spelled his name wrong. So it says Inoue Akihiro. They switched the kanji around. This is in Japan. Family names come first. This is Inoue, and this should read Hiroaki, but it actually reads Akihiro, which is not a really bad mistake, really, given that Akihiro is also a common sort of typical given name in Japan. But he is Inoue Hiroaki. So if you switch the two kanji on his given name around, it would be, as they have done here, this actually reads Akihiro, which is incorrect. The kanji should be switched the other way. Basically just a typo there. So this card is an error. I doubt it was fixed. I don't think so, but it probably wasn't fixed or corrected. So then finally, guys, I'm just gonna end the video with a couple modern pickups. I got this from the most recent Topps Chrome MPB. I got this Roki Sasaki insert, Volcanic. Pretty cool insert there. So Sasaki, of course, has now voiced clearly that he wants to be posted to MLB. We'll see how that drama plays out. There's some, well, I don't know if it's drama, but there's some speculation that he basically must have some kind of provision in his contract, much like Otani did, that states that he's allowed to be or that he can be posted anytime he wants. There is some speculation that that is the case. The fact that he's even saying it. Of course, the Marines would not really ideally want to do that because if they let him go before he's 25, they're not really going to get anything for him. Whereas if he is 25 or older, they'll get a pretty generous posting fee. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Roki in the majors, of course, I'd like to see him in 2025. At the same time, I kind of feel like Sasaki, he's not quite there, in my opinion. I think there's a little bit more that he needs to and should prove in Japanese baseball before he comes over. And as much as I like seeing the top Japanese guys in the majors, I also think that I personally don't really want to see I like MPB as its own thing, and I don't necessarily want to see it become like kind of an automatic feeder league for the majors. So we'll see what happens. But and finally, I found this. This is a pretty cool card. This is a Then and Now from 2014 Rookie Edition BBM, and it has Masahiro Tanaka and Yuki Matsui on it, both for the Eagles. And of course, Yuki Matsui. Tanaka, of course, had a pretty successful career in the majors with the Yankees, and then he went back to the Eagles after his Yankees tenure. And Yuki Matsui just signed a contract with the Padres. So he'll be probably closing, I imagine, for the Padres this season. So, all right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Peace. Go Pack.